The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the weathered porch of the Double R Ranch as 34-year-old Jacob Richardson stood in the doorway, his calloused hands still dusty from a long day of mending fences. His brown hair showed the first traces of gray at the temples, and his blue eyes held the quiet weariness of a man who had been managing both a ranch and single fatherhood for the past 2 years. Jacob's wife, Mary, had died during the difficult winter of 1887, leaving him to raise their 6-year-old son, Tommy, while maintaining one of the territory's most successful cattle operations. The ranch employed 8 full-time hands, but finding reliable help for the house and kitchen had proven nearly impossible in their remote location. The sound of approaching wagon wheels drew Jacob's attention to the dusty road leading to his ranch house. A modest wagon pulled by 2 tired-looking horses was making its way toward the main gate. As it drew closer, Jacob could see a woman in a simple brown dress holding the reins with what appeared to be a small child sitting beside her. The wagon pulled to a stop near the front porch, and the woman climbed down with practiced ease. She appeared to be in her late 20s, with dark hair neatly pinned back and intelligent brown eyes that held both determination and gentle warmth. Her dress, while well mended and carefully pressed, showed the signs of someone who worked hard for everything she owned. "Good afternoon, sir," the woman said with respectful directness. "I am Elena Martinez. I was told in town that you might be in need of a cook and housekeeper." Jacob studied her face, noting the quiet strength in her expression. "That is correct, ma'am, though I should mention that this is a working ranch in a fairly isolated location. The position would require living on the property and managing meals for up to 10 men on a daily basis." "I understand the requirements," Elena replied with confidence. "I have experience cooking for large groups, and I am not afraid of hard work or remote living." It was then that Jacob noticed the small figure who had been partially hidden behind Elena's skirts. A little girl, perhaps 4 years old, with her mother's dark hair and large, curious eyes, was peeking out shyly from behind Elena's protective presence. "This is my daughter, Sophia," Elena said, her voice taking on a slightly defensive tone as she placed a protective hand on the child's shoulder. "I know that having a child might complicate the employment arrangement, but she is well behaved and would not interfere with my work duties." Jacob felt his heart tighten as he looked at the little girl, who reminded him so much of Tommy at that age. "How old is Sophia?" "She is 4 years old, sir," Elena replied, clearly prepared for potential rejection based on her daughter's presence. From inside the house came the sound of running feet, and suddenly Tommy appeared in the doorway behind his father. The 6-year-old boy had inherited his father's blue eyes and his mother's gentle spirit, though he had been quieter and more withdrawn since Mary's death. Tommy's eyes immediately fixed on Sophia with the intense curiosity that children have for potential playmates. Sophia, in turn, offered a small wave from behind her mother's skirts. "Ma'am," Jacob said after a moment of consideration, "would you be willing to prepare a sample meal so I can evaluate your cooking skills? Sophia is welcome to play with Tommy while you work, if that would be helpful." Elena's face brightened with relief and determination. "I would be honored to demonstrate my abilities, Mr. Richardson." Over the next 2 hours, Jacob watched Elena transform his neglected kitchen into a scene of efficient activity. She prepared a hearty beef stew with fresh biscuits and apple pie, using ingredients she found in his pantry and root cellar with the skill of someone who could create satisfying meals from whatever was available. More importantly, Jacob observed how naturally Elena interacted with Tommy, including him in small kitchen tasks and listening to his chatter about ranch life with genuine interest. Sophia gradually emerged from her shyness and began playing with Tommy, their laughter filling the house with sounds it had not heard since Mary's death. "Where is Sophia's father, if you do not mind me asking?" Jacob inquired as Elena put the finishing touches on the evening meal. Elena's expression grew more serious. "My husband died in a mining accident 2 years ago. Since then, Sophia and I have been moving from town to town, seeking stable employment and a safe place to build a new life." Jacob recognized the familiar pain of loss in her voice and the courage it took to start over with a young child depending on you. "That must have been incredibly difficult." "We have managed," Elena replied with quiet dignity. "Sophia gives me strength, and I am determined to provide her with stability and opportunities for a good life." When the ranch hands came in for dinner, Jacob watched their reactions to Elena's cooking with interest. The men, who had been surviving on their own rough attempts at meals, praised the food enthusiastically and treated both Elena and Sophia with respectful courtesy. "Ma'am, this is the finest meal we have had in months," said old Pete, the ranch foreman. "If Mr. Richardson has any sense, he will hire you immediately." That evening, after Sophia and Tommy had fallen asleep on the parlor floor while playing with wooden toy horses, Jacob and Elena sat on the front porch discussing the practical details of the position. The work would be demanding, Jacob explained honestly. Breakfast at 5 in the morning for the hands, packed lunches for those working distant pastures, and substantial dinners every evening, plus managing the household and any special cooking for cattle drives or seasonal work. "I am prepared for those responsibilities," Elena assured him. "In exchange, I would hope for fair wages, safe housing for Sophia and myself, and perhaps the opportunity for Sophia to receive some education as she grows older." Jacob found himself impressed by Elena's straightforward approach and clear priorities. "There is a small schoolhouse in town that Tommy attends 3 days a week. Sophia would be welcome to join him when she is old enough." Over the following weeks, Elena and Sophia settled into life at the Double R Ranch with remarkable ease. Elena's cooking quickly became legendary among the ranch hands, but more importantly, her presence brought warmth and stability back to the main house. Sophia and Tommy became inseparable companions, and their friendship helped Tommy emerge from the quiet sadness that had settled over him since his mother's death. Elena, meanwhile, proved to be not only an excellent cook but also a capable manager who brought efficiency and organization to all aspects of the household. Jacob found himself looking forward to the end of each workday, when he could return to a house filled with the sounds of children playing and the aromas of Elena's excellent cooking. Their evening conversations on the porch became a cherished part of his routine. 6 months after Elena's arrival, as Jacob watched Tommy and Sophia chase fireflies in the front yard while Elena mended clothes nearby, he realized that his ranch had become a home again in ways he had not dared to hope for. "Elena," he said quietly one evening as they sat together watching the sunset, "I want you to know that you and Sophia have brought more to this ranch than just excellent meals and household management. You have given us back our sense of being a family." Elena smiled with the contentment of someone who had finally found the security and belonging she had been seeking. "Sophia and I have found our home here too, Jacob. Sometimes the best things in life come not from what we plan, but from having the courage to knock on the right door when opportunity presents itself." 2 years later, when Jacob and Elena married in a simple ceremony attended by all the ranch hands and half the town, Tommy and Sophia stood beside them as witnesses to the beautiful truth that families can be created not just by birth, but by love, commitment, and the willingness to open one's heart to unexpected possibilities.